All right. Okay, it's not ESPN's 30 for 30. However, it is my 98 for 98. The 98 seasons in the history of the New York Football Giants. Going to try to get it done in 98 days. That's probably not going to happen, but I will get it done right around the time beginning of the new season starts, which starts September 10th against those Dallas Cowboys. And we're coming to the end. It's hard to believe, right? 2018 season number 94. 94th season for the history of the New York Giants, but the 99th season in the history of the NFL. NFL started in 1920. Giants started in 1925. Giants are 5 years younger than the NFL is. So 2019 will be a historical season for the NFL, which we'll go over tomorrow night, right? But 2018 season, well, things were changing, right? Out was Ben McAdoo, Jerry Reese. In came Dave Gettleman, Pat Shurmur. Oh, man, the fun just kept on rolling, huh? Yeah, got not a good GM, and he hired two not very good coaches. So we had some more slim seasons here. So 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, Pat Shurmur. Basically, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he was 9-20. He coached the Browns for 2 seasons. And I think it was 9-23. And he coached the Giants for 2 seasons. And I think he was 9-23. So he was, what would that be, 18, right? 18-46 in 4 seasons of coaching. He's good offensive minded coach, not an overall good head coach, though. Nice guy and all that stuff. But I mean, you'll see. I mean, you'll notice. I mean, the 2 seasons he coached, I mean, the Giants had some out. Their defense was not very good. But even when he had if you Saquon's rookie season, I mean, he had over 2,000 yards, all-purpose yards, 91 receptions, 1,300 yards rushing. I mean, he got some points. I mean, I forget, was it 25 points or so game they had? I mean, they were good. And then in 2019, when they drafted Daniel Jones and they put him in there, he missed the first couple games, but when he put him, but Shurmur had him in there. First season, new offense, this, that, and the other thing, and all that stuff and everything. No Odell Beckham Jr., nothing, right? I mean, he threw 24 touchdown passes. I think they had 12 interceptions, but 24 touchdown passes, and that was in like 12 games. Because he missed the first couple games because Eli was the man, but then Daniel got hurt and Eli had to come in later on in the season. So Daniel only played, I think, in 12 games. Started in 12, so played, I think, 12 full games, and he threw 24 touchdown passes. So at that rate, had he played the whole season as a rookie, in 2019, we're talking about, not 2018, but that rate, 2 touchdowns a game. But Daniel Jones started the first game, played all 16. Daniel Jones would have had 32 touchdown passes. Right? I mean, we're having a hard time right now getting him to get 20, but his first season, Shurmur, I'm just saying at that rate, because he started and played like 12 games through 24. It's 2 touchdowns a game. Last season, he averaged 1. Right? Of course, his interceptions came way down, but so I'm saying, so Shurmur could dial him up. He was calling some good plays, and the Giants scored some points. Just their defense was not very, very good. But so we had Dave Gettleman come in. He had some prior ties to the Giants, so that was one of the reasons why they wound up hiring him as a GM. Familiarity. He just been let go by the Panthers. Right. So the Giants brought in Dave Gettleman. He hired Pat Shurmur. So So we got 2 lean seasons coming up with Pat Shurmur. Dave Gettleman, he tried. He tried. He tried. He did a lot of things. But for every 5, I'm trying to put a number on it. Just to be nice. Every 4 things that Dave Gettleman did, 3 of them didn't turn out to be too good. But every now he would have a home run. He would do good every now and then. But, it wasn't good enough. But so let's see. So how did the 2018 season start for the Giants in the preseason? Let's take a look, shall we? All right. They wound up 2-2. First game they played was at home against the Cleveland Browns on August 9th, 2018. They would lose 20-10. The following week, they would go on the road. They would play the Detroit Lions in Ford Field, and they would win 30-17. Giants are 1-1. Then they would have the 2 games, or annual games, right? The third one against the Jets, and then the 4th one against the Patriots. So the third game was on August 24th. They were the away team against the Jets, and they would win 22-16. And then their final game was, the 4th game was always against the Patriots. So on August 30th, the Giants, once again with the home team against the Patriots, and they lost 17-12. So the Giants wound up 2-2. Not too bad. Not too bad. Unfortunately, what was it there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I mean, they just started the season off there. I think they were 1-6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, they were 1-7. They started 1-7, and not a very good start. They didn't finish too bad. They finished. Actually, they finished 4-4. So I mean, the first half of the season was horrible. The second half, was at least 500. It was the same thing that Joe Judge era. Joe Judge started 1-7 as well. In the second half, he was 5-3, so he wound up 6-10 his first season. Right. So, all right. So, what does Wikipedia have to say about the 2018 New York Football Giants? All right, the 2018 season was the New York Giants' 94th season in the National Football League, their 9th playing their home games at MetLife Stadium, and their first under new head coach Pat Shurmur. The Giants entered the season looking to improve on their 2017 campaign, which saw the team finish with a record of 3-13, which was their worst since the adoption of a 16-game regular season. Despite starting 1-7 for the second consecutive year, the Giants managed to improve on their 3-13 campaign with a 30-27 win over the Bears after a 17-0 shutout loss to the Titans in Week 15. The Giants missed the playoffs for the second straight season. The season was highlighted by blown fourth quarter leads, much like 2015. 2015, oh my goodness, they blew 6 fourth quarter leads. And a lot of them wasn't like the fourth quarter. They all were like the last second, last minute. They blew these leads. Oh, it was just absolutely unbelievable. 2015. The Giants were in 12 one-possession games and lost 8 by 7 points or fewer. The Giants finished the season 5-11 and in last place in the NFC East for the second straight year, and the first time they finished last in back-to-back years since 1977 and 1978. Oh, there were some lean years there. Despite the 5-11 record, this season was highlighted with rookie running back Saquon Barkley, who won many awards, including the Pepsi Rookie of the Year, FedEx Ground NFL Player of the Year, and AP NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year, and was named to the All-Rookie team and the AP All-Rookie team, too. So, lots of awards for Saquon. Of course, a lot of people, kind of thought, they Gettleman should have gone in another direction. Like I always wanted him to take Quentin Nelson, the guard, because they needed help on their offensive line, and he would have, I mean, Saquon was obviously an immediate upgrade as well on the offense, but I mean, they needed offensive line help too. And, they took Quentin Nelson in there. I mean, he would have been plug and play guard. Right. So, and the Giants wouldn't be having questions at their guard position right now. Right. But anyway, it is what it is. All right. So the Giants, as obviously we saw, I mean, they did some wheeling and dealing there. They did do some wheeling and dealing. Where are we at here? With their draft picks. Of course, the biggest thing was they took Saquon because they finished 3-13 the year before. But of course, the Browns finished winless, so the Browns had the number 1 overall pick, and they took Baker Mayfield. But to the Giants, to much skepticism, taking Saquon Barkley, a running back, at number 2 now. Of course, is he talented enough? And I mean, without question, a great talent. He still has his moves, and we're going into the 2023 season. He can still, he still catch the ball. I mean, it'd be nice to hopefully see this season coming up. He'll actually get more yards per reception than he did last season. But, he had a very, very, very good rookie season. Over 2,000 all-purpose yards. I mean, very good. But, I mean, was that the right way for the Giants to go? Was that, Dave Gettleman's first year, shouldn't he have gone with a running back at number 2? Or could we have taken somebody close to him, maybe in a later round, and maybe, as I said, took Quentin Nelson, plug and play guard, right? But it is what it is. But very happy with Saquon. He's still on the team. So then in the second round, and it just seemed like at the time, that. But, of course, the Giants is one thing the Giants have a hard time doing is drafting their guys and re-signing them. And when they took Will Hernandez in the second round, pick number 34, so basically he was almost a first-round pick, right? Pick number 34. But, I mean, you can almost say, if they took Quentin Nelson and then they took Will Hernandez, they'd have their 2 guards for the future. But Will Hernandez played, let's see here. I mean, as always, he played his 4 seasons with the Giants, and then he went to Arizona, and I think he's still with Arizona. I can't be positive with that, but I think he still might be with Arizona. But as I said, as usual, the Giants did so many times they draft players and they just never re-sign them, and they let Will Hernandez go. He had a good rookie season. And, for all intents and purposes, it seemed like when they drafted Will Hernandez, it's kind of, it was like, all right, okay, we got our running back. All right, now we got our guard. Okay, so we got these 2 guys. We know we're going to ride off into the sunset. We got at least 1 guard. We got one of our 5 on the offensive line, and we got to run. Okay, that's cool. But said after 4 seasons, Will Hernandez is now on another team. With their 3rd round selection, they took Lorenzo Carter, who wound up, was a decent player. He never seemed to live up to his potential. He actually, I know he missed some time. Let's see here. What did he miss? 2020, he missed, he only played in 5 games. But it's a shame. Once again, another player played 4 seasons with the Giants, and they didn't re-sign him. Yeah. You can't build a team drafting players and just letting everybody go. You can't do that. And that's what the Giants have done so much since the mid-2000s. They just draft guys, they play a couple years, 2, 3, 4 years, and they just never re-sign them. Just let them go. And that's the same thing here with Lorenzo Carter. Now, he had rookie season, he had 4 sacks. Second season, he had 4.5. His 3rd season, 2020, he only played in 5 games. But his final season, 2021, he had 5 sacks. Last year, he played with Atlanta, played all 17 games, and he had 4 sacks. And I think Atlanta just signed him for $3 million. I think it was. Let's see. 6'5", 255 pounds. A nice size. But he had 4 sacks for the Giants. I'm sorry, for the Falcons last year. In his final season with the Giants, he actually had 5. I think he had 4 in the final 4 weeks or something like that. He really came on this last few games of the 2021 season and had a boatload of sacks, but they didn't want to re-sign him. So, as I said, it's a shame because he wound up going to Atlanta. I think it was just for $3 million. Now, the thing is that when Shane and Dable came in last season, right, they didn't have a lot of cap space, so they couldn't go around buying, bringing back a lot of guys and all, because there just was not a lot of cap space at all. So that could have been one of the reasons why they didn't bring him back. Obviously, once again, I'm not exactly for sure, but I would have liked to see him bring him back. I mean, he wasn't, obviously he wasn't a phenomenal player, but he was young, he was a decent player, and he can get some sacks for you. But it is what it is. Now he's playing his ball. Well, at least last year he played his ball with the Falcons anyway. So that was the Giants' 3rd round pick. Then the Giants started doing a little bit. They did some wheeling and dealing here. All right, let's see here. All right, here we go. 3rd round. So the Giants, with their 3rd round pick, they took Lorenzo Carter. Then what wound up happening was the Giants, let's see here, they made a trade. The Giants traded J.P. Paye and their 4th round pick to the Buccaneers. And the Giants wound up with the Buccaneers' 3rd round pick and the Buccaneers' 4th round pick. So they swapped 4th round picks, and the Giants gave the Bucks J.P. Paye, and the Giants got the Bucks' 3rd round pick. So with the Giants' 3rd round pick, the Giants drafted B.J. Hill. Very good pick. Solid. Solid pick. The 3rd round. Of course, once again, it's the same thing as always with the New York Football Giants. Same thing as always. He played 3 seasons with the Giants, and now he's with the Bengals. A good young player, all right. And he played 3 seasons, and he's no longer. They don't re-sign him. Just let him go. So. But he actually, his rookie season, he actually had 5.5 sacks. He did very well, very, very well. And then I don't know if he just fell out of favor or what, because his rookie season, he started in 12 games. In 2019, his 2nd season, he only started in 5. In 2020, he didn't start in any games at all. But, but I said he had 5.5 sacks, right? And he's played 3 seasons for the Giants, and they just let him go. They just do not re-sign their players, their draft picks. And you can't build a team that way. All right, so the Giants in the 4th round, they wound up taking Kyle Lauletta. However, right, that was the picks that they switched with the Bucks. Right? The Bucks wound up with the Giants' 4th round pick, which was the 2nd pick in the 4th round. And actually, they wound up trading that away to the Vikings. But anyway, then the Giants wound up getting the 8th pick in the 4th round, which was the Bucks, and they took Kyle Lauletta, right, the quarterback. And as I said, once again, this all had to do with the JPP trade. So the Giants basically just flip-flopped their 4th round pick with the Buccaneers. Now, Kyle Lauletta was from Richmond. He played 1 season in the NFL, looked like here, and he was out. So they took a quarterback who played 1 season, and that was it. So, not a very good pick. Not a very good pick. All right, so then the Giants, in the 5th round, they wound up taking R.J. McIntosh. Remember him? And he had like a thyroid problem, I think it was, so he missed his entire actually, the Giants in the 4th round, they had a compensatory pick, but they traded it to the Rams. They got Alec Ogletree. Remember that? Remember good old Alec? So the Giants had a compensatory pick for loss of free agents Robbie Gould, Jonathan Hankins, Marshall Newhouse, and Cody Sensabaugh. Lost those 4 guys, so the Giants got a fourth round compensatory pick. Not bad, but they traded it to the Rams for Alec Ogletree. So, but then in the 5th round, the Giants wound up taking R.J. McIntosh, who, as I said, I know he had I think it was some type of like a thyroid problem. I think it was. He was from Miami of Florida, defensive tackle. He only played 2 seasons in the NFL, and his career was over. So the 2018 season, I don't think he started right away because he only played in 6 games. And then in 2019, he played in 12 games, and his career was over. He never played another down. He went with 18 total tackles, 2 sacks. He was a defensive tackle from the U. So he didn't pan out very well. So that was the Giants' 5th round pick. I said that. Then the 6th round pick. Let's go over here. The Giants had the 6th round pick. I said it's a win-on deal. This was also the Alec Ogletree. The Giants got Alec Ogletree, and they traded away their 6th round pick for Alec. So they didn't have their 6th round pick. And then their 7th round pick, they didn't have that one either. They were doing some wheeling and dealing. Let me tell you. Tell you what, they traded away. They got Ross Cockrell from the Steelers. So they traded away their 7th round pick to the Pittsburgh Steelers for Ross Cockrell. And I think he played like 1 season for the Giants. So they're trading away their picks for guys who don't. Once again, it's very, very typical of the Giants. I don't see them having any other compensatory picks here. It doesn't look like it. So, but they did some wheeling and dealing in the 2018 draft. So, as I said, I mean, it was, but I said, one of the things the Giants just around this period of time, the mid 2000s up all the way up to now, is that, even when they did draft good guys and they played a few years, they just never re-signed them. And you can't build a team that way, continually drafting guys. They play 2-3 seasons and you just let them go. Right? I mean, because out of all these guys on this, they got 6 guys in this draft class. Thankfully, we still have Saquon, right? But the other 5 guys were gone, all gone. And we're talking the 2018 draft. We're not going back to the 1994 draft. The 2018 draft, thankfully, we have 1 guy, but the other 5 guys are long gone. So, all right. So let's see here. The Giants and the statistics here. I mean, the Giants, I said they scored some points. Points for the Giants averaged 23.1 points per game. Not too bad, which was 16th in the league, right around the league minimum. The points against, they averaged 25.8 points against. So that was pretty bad. Almost they gave up 26 points a game, which was 23rd out of 32 teams. So not very, very impressive. Let's see here. Eli Manning completed 60 is once again Pat Shurmur, right? Eli Manning, a career high 66% completion percentage. 4,299 passing yards, 21 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, but 66% completion percentage. Actually, let me see. I mean, it just goes to show Pat Shurmur may not have been a good coach, but he could scheme up some good plays, get some points and all that and everything. 66%. Yep, by far that was his best year. His other best year was 63.1. Yeah, 63.1. So this completion percentage was almost 3 completion percentage points higher than any other year he ever had. 66%. A great, great season for him. And he only had 11 interceptions, which was almost the fewest of his entire career. So 1.9% completion interception percentage was the lowest of his career. 11 interceptions was a 1.9% interception rate, which is the lowest of his career. 66% completion percentage was the highest of his career. So, I mean, very, very good, good year for Eli Manning. And I said, Saquon, and just, Saquon, what do you got? 1,307 rushing yards, 11 touchdowns, 91 receptions for 721 yards, another 4 touchdowns. He had 15 touchdowns his rookie season. What a phenomenal season he had. There wasn't, pretty much, if it wasn't Saquon running the ball, pretty much nobody else did. The only other one was the Wayne Train Gettleman, right? He ran the ball 51 times and 176 yards. But other than that, nobody else even had close to even 30 yards rushing or 50 yards rushing. Some other guys ran the ball, but nothing too much. So basically, it was either Saquon or Gallman, and that was it. As I said, Saquon Barkley had 91 receptions. Gallman had 14. Odell Beckham Jr. had 77. Sterling Shepard had 66. Evan Ingram had 45 receptions. Rhett Ellison, remember him? He had 25. Benny Fowler had 16. Cody Lattimore had 11. Russell Shepard had 10. Scott Simonson, the tight end, he had 9. So, but for this one season, we had the greatest quarterback the Giants have ever had. The greatest running back the Giants have ever had. You can argue with Tiki and all that, but I'm just saying, as far as sheer explosiveness and all of that, it's hard to beat Saquon. And I said it's hard to beat Eli, and then of course we have Odell Beckham Jr. Now, of course, he's not the most receptions and the most yards and all that for Giants history, but it's 1 year, just the 1 year, we had Odell, Saquon, and Eli, the Fab Three, the Fantastic Three. We had all on the field at the same time, and they were putting up some points. Unfortunately, the defense was not very good. And I said, it also said, as in Wikipedia, he also knows the Giants gave up some leads late, right? As they did in 2015, which they did so many times in 2015. All right, Aldrick Rosas. My goodness, what a season he had. 32 out of 33, 97% complete field goal percentage. Success rate, 97%, 32 out of 33, and he was 31 out of 32 on extra points. Just a phenomenal season. Riley Dixon, he kicked 45.4%, 45.4 yards per attempt. He only had 4 touchbacks, and he had kicked 20 balls inside. He dropped 20 balls inside the 20-yard line. So he had Riley Dixon, our punter, very, very good season. Alec Ogletree, who we traded for, actually led the team in tackles. He had 93. But the Giants are out. Their defense they only had 30 sacks, and the offensive line gave up 47 sacks. So it was just not, it was not, the defense was not super spectacular. It was just gave up, as we'll see, they gave up a lot of lost a lot of close games, and we'll go over them. All right, so what do we got here? Now, the Giants started off 0-2. The first game of the season, they lost. They lost at home to Jacksonville, 20-15. Now, Judge, try to point out here the games that the Giants lost. Okay, well, this one was Saquon's his first rushing touchdown of his career. It was a 68-yarder. He took the ball kind of like was supposed to go up the middle, broke it out to the right, down the sideline. I think Shepard had a good block down there, and he took it down the sideline. And I think Church was trying to catch up to him, but he didn't have a prayer. But that was a great run. 68 yards. Of course, the thing that really hurt here was Miles Jack picked the pass off. It got tipped up in the air. Miles Jack was there, intercepted it, ran it back 32 yards for a touchdown. So the pick 6 actually wound up being the pick 7 because it was 7, wound up costing the Giants the game. Without the interception, the Giants win this game. Without the interception return for a touchdown, shall I say. The Giants outgained Jacksonville 324 to 305. The 2 turnovers, the pick 6 really cost the Giants this game. Really cost them. They had a hard time running the ball. They didn't really run the ball very well except for that one run. But also, let's not forget, Jacksonville back then had a very good defense. And they did a good job of slowing the Giants down, shall I say. But so without that pick 6, the Giants win that football game. All right, then the second week, the Giants played the Cowboys in Dallas. And surprisingly, they lost. I know, hard to believe. Let's see. They lost 20 to 13. You see the Giants were down 20 to 3, and they scored, looks like they scored 10 points in the final minute and a half of the game to make it close. But the Cowboys pretty much, dominated that one. Let's see. Then the Giants finally got their first win. They beat the Houston Texans 27 to 22. So now the Giants are 1-2. Then they would host the Saints, and they would lose 33 to 18. Then the following week, they lost this one here. This one, good old Graham Gano did us in. I think it was a 742-yard field goal he kicked. How far was it? 63-yarder. Graham Gano, as timing, with 1 second left, kicked a 63-yard field goal to beat the Giants were winning 31 to 30. And they got down, and so I don't know what the heck that would be. They got the ball down around the Giants' 45-yard line. Graham Gano kicks a 63-yard field goal, and basically his time expires to beat the Giants. 63-yard field goal. Once again, the Giants so many times back then they lost games on these ridiculously long field. The Eagles kicked a 61-yarder against us to beat us. Here, Graham Gano kicks a 63-yarder against us to beat us. Just also in this one too, the Panthers recovered a fumble in the end zone for a touchdown. It just around this era, it was just not the Giants. It was just not the Giants' time. It was just one frustrating loss after the other. So they lost there. Now they're 1-4. Then the following week they played the Eagles at home. They lost 34 to 13 to the Eagles. Then the following week they went to play Atlanta in Atlanta, and the Giants will lose. Hard to believe they lost 23 to 20. And it was pretty much The Giants, actually, Odell Beckham Jr. caught a 1-yard touchdown pass from Eli with 5 seconds left to go in the game to make it 23 to 20. So Atlanta, had a nice little lead, and they wound up winning the game. So they obviously they certainly deserved to win the game, but it wasn't like a last-second loss by the Giants. So after the Giants lost to the Falcons, the following week they lost to hard to believe they lost another one to the Washington Redskins at home. So the Giants are now 1-7. They lost 20 to 13 to the Redskins. Let's see here. Yeah, no, the Redskins were up 20 to 6, and the Giants with 17 seconds left, they scored on a 2-yard touchdown pass to make it 20 to 13. So the Redskins, did the Giants in there. So now the Giants are 1-7. The Giants went on their bye. Halfway through the season, they're 1-7. Basically, the season's over with. The second half of the season, all they have to play for left to play for is pride. And they, to their credit, they were 4-4. And actually, to their credit, at one point in the second half, they were 4-1. They lost their last 3 games of the season. So they played with some pride. Got to give them some credit. All right, they did bounce back. The first game, they beat the 49ers 27 to 23 in San Francisco. So now the Giants are 2-7. Yay! Then the following week, the Giants at home, they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 38 to 35. So now the Giants are 3-7. Oh, baby, they're on a roll. Then they would play in Philadelphia, and they would lose to the Eagles 25-22. And let's see what happened here. With 22 seconds left to go in the game, Jake Elliott kicked a 43-yard field goal. It was 22-22. But, of course, the Eagles got the ball back, walked down the field, right, as they've done so many teams did back to the Giants against the Giants back in those days, right? They walked down the field, and with 22 seconds left to go, Jake Elliott kicked a 43-yard field goal, and the Eagles won 25-22. All right, let's see here. So after the Giants lost to the Eagles, they were 3-8, but they would win their next two games. At home against the Bears, they would win 30-27 in overtime. So now the Giants would be 4-8. The following week, they got their revenge on the Redskins. And they were the Redskins back then, right? They beat them 40-16. So now the Giants are 5-8. And actually, they got 3 games left. They're 5-8. If by some ungodly reason they could actually win their final 3 games, they would actually finish 500, but it was not meant to be. They would lose their final 3 games. Started with Tennessee. Tennessee came to town, and they beat the Giants 17-0. Right. Then the Giants went to Indianapolis, and they played the Colts, and I think this is the last minute loss here. Yep. The Giants were winning 27-21, and with 55 seconds left to go in the game, Chester Rogers scored a 1-yard touchdown pass from Andrew Luck. Adam Vinatieri kicked the extra point, and they won 28-27. So that was a last-minute loss. The Giants had the lead with a minute to go, and they blew it. So I mean, it was just a bunch of games. The Giants here, bunch of games. You know, I mean, if few of these games went the other way, the Giants could have been 8-8, but they couldn't finish football games. Then, of course, this one here, I'm sure this was the last-second loss here. So the last game of the season, the Giants played the Cowboys at home, and they lost 36-35. So let's see what happened with this one. Yep, there we go. Yep, Cole Beasley. Oh, there you go. Cole Beasley did us in. 32-yard touchdown reception from Dak Prescott. Michael Gallup caught the extra. Oh, and that was the dagger. That went for the jugular, right? Cole Beasley with a minute 12 to go. The Giants were winning 35-28, and you got to give the Cowboys all the credit in the world there. All the freaking credit in the world there. Got to 2 thumbs up to the Cowboys, right? So the Giants were winning 35-28. So they were up by 7 points. So the Cowboys with a minute 12, in the game, Cole Beasley caught a 32-yard touchdown pass from Dak Prescott. So, so it wasn't like they were driving and they got inside the 5 and it was a little quick pass. No, it was long, right? I mean, if the Giants could have held them out of the end zone, the field goal wouldn't have done them any good. The Giants they were 32 yards away and they gave up a 32-yard touchdown reception. But even after that, they still could have won the game. But the Cowboys went for 2. Once again, all the credit to the Cowboys, right? They went for the win. They got the win. Congratulations, Dallas. You guys certainly deserve it. The Giants, if they stopped them on a 2-point conversion, the Giants would have won the game 35-34. But as I said, the Cowboys went for it. They got it. Congratulations, Dallas. Michael Gallup caught a pass from Dak Prescott, gave them the 2-point conversion, put the Cowboys up 36-35. The Giants got the ball back, right? But they couldn't even get in the field goal range. And Alijah Vera-Tucker has a strong leg. So if they could have got anywhere around the 40-yard line or so of Dallas, right? I mean, the Giants put up 35 points, but for whatever reason, they couldn't get in the field goal range with a little over a minute to go. So the Cowboys won that game. But, I mean, as you see, as it said in Wikipedia, the Giants had so many last-minute, last-second losses that, if they had any kind of luck on their side, right, the season would have been a little. I mean, I'm not saying they would have went to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying they would have won the playoffs, but they could have been 7-9, maybe 8-8 if they had better luck, or if they had a better defense. They could have stopped the other team with like a minute or so to go in the game. But it was a lot like 2015. The Giants had like 6 games that they lost in 2015 that they lost. Either one of them was in overtime. I think the game got tied in the final minute, and then they lost it in overtime. And then it was like 5 other games that they lost, like either in the final second or the final minute of the game. It was just unbelievable, absolutely unfreaking believable. It was like Groundhog's Day with Bill Murray. The same thing week in and week out. The Giants would get a lead, and in the final second, the other team would pull out a victory. It was just unbelievable. And this was a painful season as well too. The only thing that you can kind of feel kind of good about was in the final, all the last second losses that the Giants had in this season. All right, maybe if their defense can get a little bit better, maybe they can turn it around. So you had a little hope going forward. Plus, also not to mention the fact that the Giants in the final 8 games were 4-4. They started 1-7. Okay, new coach, blah 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 blah, all that stuff. But the final 8 games, at least we were 4-4, and we blew a bunch of leads too. So with any luck, the Giants could have a better season in the following season, in 2019. That didn't happen. Okay, so just that between Shermer and his 2 seasons, the 2 seasons with McAdoo, the 2 seasons with Shermer, the 2 seasons with Judge, just painful football. And not only so much that, the 2015 season, Coughlin's final season, painful football. It was just very, very painful. But it is what it is. But now, hopefully looking forward, with the Shane / Daniel Jones and all the guys that we got now, hopefully things are looking up for the football Giants, right? Even if I'm not saying we're going to win the Super Bowl or nothing, but things are certainly looking up for the New York Football Giants. And you know what? After we went through all that stuff in the 2015, 16, 17, all those seasons, everything like that, we deserve some good times ahead. And I definitely think, without question, the New York Football Giants are heading in the right direction, without question. So let's go over to the what does Wikipedia have to say about the 2018 NFL season. The 2018 NFL season was the 99th season in the history of the National Football League and the 53rd of the Super Bowl era. The season began on September 6, 2018, with the NFL kickoff game with the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles defeating the Atlanta Falcons. This season concluded with Super Bowl 53, the league's championship game on February 3rd, 2019 at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, in which the New England Patriots defeated the Los Angeles Rams. Oh my God, that was a tough one to watch. For their 6th Super Bowl championship and their 3rd title in 5 years. Oh yeah. Well, if it wasn't for the Eagles, the Patriots would have won 3 straight Super Bowls. They beat Atlanta, then they would if the Eagles didn't beat them, the Patriots would have beat the Eagles, and then they would beat the Rams. They would have 3-peated. Nobody's 3-peated as far as Super Bowl titles. So I guess we owe the Eagles a little bit of debt of gratitude there, right? All right. So now let's go to the AFC, shall we? How did the AFC do? Of course, it is shocking. New England Patriots won the AFC East with a record of 11-5. Baltimore Ravens won the AFC North with a record of 10-6. Houston Texans with a record of 11-5 won the AFC South. The Indianapolis Colts with a record of 10-6 were a wild card team. Kansas City Chiefs with a record of 12-4 beat out the Los Angeles Chargers, who had a record of 12-4. But Kansas City finished ahead of the Chargers based on division games. So that's why Kansas City got the nod and the Chargers got the wild card. So in the playoffs, the Chargers beat Baltimore 23-17. And the Colts beat the Houston Texans 21-17. So now in the divisional round, New England beat the Chargers 41-28. And the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Indianapolis Colts 31-13. So setting up the championship game. And New England won in overtime 37-31 over the Chiefs. So obviously sending the Patriots to the Super Bowl, right? So All right, all right, all right. Okay, so in the NFC East, the Cowboys won with a record of 10-6. The Eagles were a wild card with a record of 9-7. The Bears won the NFC North with a record of 12-4. The New Orleans Saints with a record of 13-3 won the NFC South, and in the NFC West, the Rams with a record of 13-3 won the division, and the Seattle Seahawks with a record of 10-6 got the other wild card. So now in the playoffs here, all right. Let's see. Dallas beat Seattle 24-22, and the Eagles just squeaked by the Bears 16-15. All right. So now in the divisional round, the Rams beat Dallas 30-22, and New Orleans beat the Eagles 20-14. So now that set up the championship game between the Rams and the Saints, and the Rams would prevail 26-23 in overtime. So basically, it looks like both of the championship games went to overtime. Very exciting. So now that would set up the probably one of the most boringest Super Bowls you'll ever have between the New England Patriots and the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, it was just, it was painful to watch. It was 3-0 at halftime. It was 3-3 going into the fourth quarter. Into the fourth quarter, it was 3-3. I mean, Bell, as well as Belichick can do, he found a way to shut down the Rams. Really slow them down. Let's see. Hold on. Can we get this here? Can I click on? No, I can't. Oh, wait. Okay, here we go. Let's go back up here. The Rams scored 527 points. Is this going to tell me or no? No, it's not going to tell me. Doesn't look like it. Yeah. But, you know what I'm saying? Well, fine. Let's see here. 16, 32. So they averaged over 30 points a game. Over 30 points a game they averaged. Right? I don't know, it was 31, 32, 33 points a game they averaged scoring. And the Patriots, because of what Bill Belichick had devised a defense to stop the Rams, they scored 3 points in the Super Bowl. Let's see here. The Rams had 14 first downs. I mean, they used to score like 33 points or so, or whatever, a game. They had 198 net passing yards. They had 62. They had 260 yards of offense. I mean, boy, Belichick did it in his magical way. He was able to slow down the Rams' high-powered offense. And each team only had one turnover. So it was just. I mean, the Patriots had 407 yards of offense, but we have the big thing here was. It was 3-0 at halftime. After 3 quarters, it was 3-3. Greg Zuerlein kicked a 53-yard field goal for the Rams. That was about the closest that they were getting. 53-yard field goal. So it was 3-3 going into the fourth quarter. But with 7 minutes left to go in the game, Sony Michel had a 2-yard touchdown run, and with Stephen Gostkowski's extra point, it was 10-3. But the Rams still had a chance. But they couldn't score. And the Patriots basically sealed the deal with 1 minute and 12 seconds left to go in the game. Stephen Gostkowski kicked a 41-yard field goal for the Patriots with 1 minute and 12 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter and put them up 13-3. So basically put them up by 2 scores with a minute to go in the game, and it was pretty much all over. And that's what it was. The Rams could score 3 points, averaged over 30 points a game all season long. Sean McVay, I mean, they were well-oiled machines. They scored all kinds of points, but as Bill Belichick could do, as he did in the Super Bowl 25, as he was able to shut down, with his defensive scheme that he had against the Bills in Super Bowl 25. He held the Bills to 19 points. Actually, only held them to 17 points because they got a safety when Bruce Smith tackled Jeff Hostetler in the end zone. So their offense only got, of course, if they kicked the field goal at the end of the game, they would have scored more, but they didn't make it. So for the whole game, they scored 17 points, their offense, and they had a high-powered offense as well. So, as Bill Belichick can do, scheme something up, right, to take away what they do best, and he did that. And when the Patriots won one of the most boringest Super Bowls of all time, they won 13. It was 3-3 going into the fourth quarter. I mean, that's boring, very, very boring. It was hard to watch it. But so the Patriots got another Super Bowl. So, like we want the Patriots to win another Super Bowl, right? But so that pretty much wrapped up Teddy's here. Teddy's in the house. That pretty much wrapped up the 2018 season. It was, first season, for actually Gettleman, and actually first season with Shermer. Yeah, didn't really have high expectations for that season, and they didn't disappoint. You weren't exactly sure what you were going to get the next season from Shermer, because as I said, they ended the season 4-4, and they had a lot of last-minute losses that instead of they were instead of being 5-11, a few of those last-minute losses went the other way. The Giants could have been 7-9, possibly 8-8, right? But one thing was for sure. Pat Shermer may not be a phenomenal head coach, but one thing is for sure is that he can call, right? And he can dial up some scores. He can dial up a good offense and get some points on the board. Saquon over 2,000 yards as a rookie, 91 receptions. Eli Manning 66% completion percentage. So it was a shame the defense just wasn't any better, but it is what it is. But unfortunately, all hopes would be dashed in the 2019 season when we found out Shermer was still a bad coach. And then, of course, the Joe Judge era started. But that wraps up the 2018 season, a losing record on the Giants' part. I'll be back again tomorrow night with the 2019 season for the New York Giants, which just happened to be the 95th season in the history of the New York Giants. See you then.